Does breathwork affect your brain waves? For the last 6 months, I've been conducting research by scanning people's brains as they do different breathing exercises, and I want to share all my findings with you in this video. All right, so first of all, let me walk you through the method that I've been doing with everyone. So I would have a person come in, I would put the brainwave scanner on them. I'm using a brainwave scanner from Muse, and I would have them sit for a few minutes with their eyes open. Then I would have them close their eyes and just breathe normally for a few minutes, just to see what happens once our eyes are closed. Then I would have them do a breathing exercise for about 5 minutes. After that, they would just go back to their regular breathing, and then I would continue scanning for a few more minutes. Finally, I would take it off, and we'd look at the results together. And what I've been finding so far in 6 months and about 30 different brainwave scans is super interesting. Before I get into the brainwave research, I'll give you a really quick synopsis of what the 5 major brainwaves are. The first one is beta. So beta is what we're mostly experiencing now. From about the age of 12 and on, we're primarily in beta, especially when we're awake, walking around during the day. Beta is processing things, it's learning, it's developing. But there's 2 different sides of beta. There's high beta, which generally comes with a lot of anxiety and stress. And then there's lower beta, which is when we're problem solving, when we're figuring things out, when we're working things out. It's actually a really good place to be when we're trying to get things done. Once we close our eyes or start meditating or focusing on one thing, we drop down into alpha waves. Now, alpha is the gateway for accessing the subconscious. It's really the most conducive for learning. Anytime we play classical music, it actually helps us drop down into those alpha waves, which is why they always recommend listening to classic music as we're learning or studying. Too much alpha can mean an inability to focus and someone who's daydreaming a lot. Blocked alpha can mean a lot of insomnia, stress, or anxiety. The next one is theta. Theta is super interesting. Once we drop into theta, that's when we're really getting into the subconscious. Theta is most prominent from the age of 2 to 6 years old. When we're that age, we have a direct line into our subconscious. So everything that we're hearing, everything that people are telling us is going directly into the subconscious, and we believe it to be true, which is why so many of us spend the majority of our adult lives trying to reprogram ourselves and figure out what the hell happened. Now, a lot of hypnotists actually get people directly into theta in order to suggest things to them and put things into their mind. So when they snap their fingers and they wake up, suddenly whatever the hypnotist said, they start to believe it and they really want it. Thomas Edison used to do a specific trick where whenever he was trying to solve a problem or work through something, he would take a nap in this chair, and in his hand he would hold a metal apple. On the floor he would place a metal plate, and as he would fall asleep, his hand would open up, he would drop the apple, it would hit the plate, and he would wake up. When he would wake up, his brain was automatically back in theta. So when we first wake up in the morning, for about the first 8 minutes, we're in theta. Part of the reason why people say when you wake up in the morning, you should meditate, you should focus on your day, you should think about what you're doing, you should plan for what you want. And it's so true, because that's what's happening in our brain. We're directly connected to our theta waves. All right, so next we have delta. Now, delta is primarily what we're in from the time we're born until about 2 years old. Delta generally is happening more during sleep. If delta is blocked, the body is unable to rejuvenate itself, and it really affects the healing and immune systems in our body. So when we're trying to focus on something, we actually need to decrease our delta. But a lot of people with attention deficit disorder, their delta waves actually increase when they're trying to focus, which is part of the reason why it's so difficult for them. All right, so the last one are the gamma waves. Now, these are really interesting. A lot of people say that these are connected with unity and consciousness, and when you're able to activate these brain waves, you just have a general connection to yourself and to the world. And we've seen this in studies with very practiced meditators and certain monks, how they're able to activate their gamma waves higher than any of the other brain waves. Because for most of us, As our brain waves are moving across the screen, the gamma are generally on the bottom because they're pretty inactive. But the more you practice, you're able to activate those all the way to the top. And I'm talking about really practice, years and years of practicing meditation. All right, so that's just a very brief summary of the brain waves. Now let's get into what I've been finding. So the first thing that I noticed is the biggest shifts that was happening with people wasn't when they started the breathing, it was when they closed their eyes. And I found that really interesting because for most of us, especially these days, we're never closing our eyes. We're always just consuming something, whether it be content, TV, looking at what's going around us. Like we just can't get enough of what's happening. So we very, very rarely take the time to close our eyes. But what I've learned from these studies is that just closing your eyes, you start to see huge shifts in your brainwaves, specifically dropping into your subconscious. So if you take anything away from this today, please just every single day for a few minutes, close your eyes and just focus inward. The other interesting thing I've seen is that those who do meditate regularly are able to start dropping into their subconscious before they even close their eyes. Now, I didn't realize this until I recently sat down with someone who also teaches breathwork, and we were able to see that she was activating her theta and alpha waves pretty strongly before she even closed her eyes. It only took her about a minute until she was able to really kick up those brain waves. So it just proves that the more you do these practices, the easier it is and the more control you have over your brain. The third thing that I noticed that was really cool was for those who don't meditate regularly, it only took about 30 seconds of conscious breathing until they start activating their alpha and theta waves. So for those of you that think, or believe that breathing is, it sounds great, but it doesn't do much, I'm actually seeing that it is doing a lot, that just 30 seconds of breathing is allowing you to drop into your subconscious. And again, when you can start dropping into your subconscious, specifically down into the theta waves, that's when you can start manifesting things. That's when you can start suggesting to yourself, hey, I'm going to create this project. I'm going to make this partnership. I'm going to be successful this month. When you make those suggestions in theta, your body starts to believe it. And you stop having those like self-doubting, oh, you want that, but it's probably not going to happen, right? Your body really starts to believe that it is going to happen. So you're able to really connect with yourself, with your brain, with your body, and bring everything together and decide like, yes, this is going forward. I'm going to do this. All right, so that's all on brainwaves. I hope to do a little bit more later. I'll see you all soon. Ciao.